Hi guys, I haven't been live in a while and I miss you. Um, as always, I'm going to be answering questions about dealing with and recovering from toxic relationships and narcissistic abuse. I get a lot of questions, a lot of DMs, a lot of comments, so I wanted to answer them in this forum. If you have any questions, please let me know and I will be so happy to answer them because it's really not just about, it's not at all actually about talking about the narcissist. It's about you learning from that experience because I will die on this hill that these relationships, and I know it can be frustrating because I had a point in my life where I kept attracting these toxic narcissistic people into my life, whether it was a romantic relationship or a friend or a coworker. It was just happening all the time and it was so frustrating, but it was showing me that there was something to heal. And it was showing me that even though, and I will always say this, and if you ever work with any therapist, coach, or psychologist that doesn't say this, they're fucking wrong. But even though I have a master's degree in psychology, I graduated at the top of my class, have all these awards and all of that, none of that is going to cure. You could have all the logic and all of the information, but none of that is actually going to heal your nervous system and help you stop these patterns from showing up. So the first part is awareness, right? We do need like the logical understanding and all of the mechanics behind it. But then, and what I really want for you guys, and I help it with all my content, is rewiring your brain and regulating and reprogramming your nervous system so you never attract these dynamics again. And when you do that, when you learn from these chaotic people, you literally level up in every area of your life: your health, wealth, relationships, career, your spirituality, whatever that is. It gets so much better because these people are accelerators. Just like any crisis or any toxic pattern, it is frustrating, and I completely understand how victimized you could feel by it, but you could really, if you understand that it's actually working in your benefit for you to, it's almost like a energy block that's helping you bring awareness to it. It's kind of like, hey, you have this energy block here that's getting in the way from you having the best relationships, the best health, the best wealth, your career, everything. This is a block there. And if you could look at it and it's coming through as a narcissistic relationship or person or boss, or, and if you could look at what it is and heal it, it will change your life. I've done like all my course students, every client I've had that I've worked with in this way has up-leveled their life in every way because of this. And this is why I'm so passionate about it. So I know that these people are, they're energy vampires and they're trying to keep you down and everything, but this relationship and you healing from it could actually be the best thing that has ever happened to you. Okay. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'm going to answer them. I got a lot of questions about narcissistic coworkers, bosses, and business partners. So I'm going to get into that. And it is really frustrating because it's like you spend a lot of time at work, right? And the dynamics with those type of narcissists are the same in romantic relationships, oddly enough. But it exists in romantic relationships, family, friends. It's the dynamic is all the same. These people are very like predictable in a way, even though they trigger the shit out of you. They're so predictable. So, but let me know if you have any other questions. But for instance, even if you have a narcissistic coworker, they love to take credit for things. They love to get under your skin, cause drama, cause all the, whatever gossip. They triangulate a lot, so pit you against other people. Narcissistic bosses do this too. It's like, oh, that person's better than you. They're always pitting people against each other. And in romantic relationships, you see that too. When there's triangulation going on, you never feel very settled in the relationship, and you always feel like you're competing against someone. Or, a lot of times the narcissist has this interesting relationship that's inappropriate or borderline inappropriate. You're tolerating it, but you shouldn't be. And it's like if you try to bring up the fact that this relationship is inappropriate, they don't like that. So you're in this triangulated situation where you're like, okay, this dynamic we have, I'm uncomfortable with this other person being here. You're using this other person to like keep me on guard, to make me feel like I have to compete with them. So the narcissist will triangulate two people against each other for attention. And so they cause drama. Narcissists are also addicted to drama. So that is a thing as well. So, but with narcissistic coworkers, they do this all the time. They gossip, they will literally make things up. So it's very important to document everything. And the biggest question I get is like, oh my God, it's hell going to work because of this person. So no one gets to disrupt your peace. No one gets to take your peace away from you. I need you to have that as your baseline state and belief in how you operate in the world. Your energy is so precious, and no one gets to take that away from you. If you want to have and it's really important to have your baseline state be one of peace, to regulate your nervous system, to keep your cortisol levels low. It's so important for your health to do that. And narcissists love like projecting all kinds of stuff to make you feel like disrupted on a neurological nervous system level. So if you don't give that to them, one, they hate it. They love causing any type of reaction. The reactions that they love are obviously like the praise and all of this type of attention, um, type of energy, but they also, even if you get triggered by them, they like that too. They like knowing that they get some type of reaction out of you. So if you give them no reaction, they hate that and they'll move on to some other form of supply, which is what they view everyone as. Narcissists don't view people as people. They view people as supply. That's why it's called supply to get their ego needs met. That's all your existence means to them, is for them to get their ego needs met. So even if they're trying to make you feel amazing in the idealization phase, and they're love bombing you, which they always do. I meet a lot of people that have business partnerships because of that love bombing phase. Like, oh my God, you're so amazing. We could create this amazing empire together. And you are just so brilliant and all this stuff, whatever they can to hook the person. And then all of a sudden they're in this relationship with them. And actually um, narcissistic business partners, it's really tough because it's like being married to them. You get in this situation, you're so excited, you're like, all the cortisol, and I mean, not the cortisol yet, but all of the bonding hormones, all of the serotonin is there. You're like, yes, we're going to build this empire, because if you have a business partner like this, it's like, yes, my dream. And then you're thinking about all the money, like it's very exciting. And then you realize you get in this situation with this narcissist and you're like, oh my God, now I'm scared, I'm worried, because narcissists are very shady with money often. And so that's another thing I recommend, is always keeping finances separate with a narcissistic business partner. But you get kind of shook, and then you realize, okay, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore, but we have this baby, aka a business, and what do I do? And you have to like slowly and strategically, and you can do it. I've helped a lot of people move out of a narcissistic business partnership, so it is possible. Is it stressful? Yes, but very temporarily. And all of those clients that I've had, that I've helped people move out of a narcissistic dynamic with a business partner, they've gone on to thrive so much. Not the narcissist, but they have. One, because they did so much internal work to realize the lesson that they needed to learn. And what happens a lot is that they realize how talented and capable and worthy that they are, and they didn't even need this business partner. And because often in business partnership with a narcissist, they put you down, they make you feel like you are lucky to have them around, like all narcissists always do. And they're very abusive, and they'll do anything to just make you feel small. So it's like, oh God, I don't want to leave this relationship, right? Do you see how, like, in a romantic relationship or in a business partnership, it's the same thing? They make you second guess yourself so much and really try to drain any type of self-esteem that you have out of you to such a degree that you feel like you can't leave the relationship, or you're just so lucky to, just have this like little relationship with them. And so you can, put up with the breadcrumbs and you could put up with the abuse. No, you never have to do that. But anyway, but if you just have a narcissistic coworker or boss, I need you to be as exciting, as like beige, the color beige. I say that a lot. Just keep it so beige. So you only interact with them with what you need to get done, and that's it. And then when it comes to another thing that really boils people's like skin so much with narcissistic coworkers is that they take credit for your work. And it's like, how do I do that? So you do it with a lot of grace. So let's say something happens and they're publicly like, oh yes, look at what I did, whatever. You can just say, oh yes, I really enjoyed building that with you. Or you could just be, if they completely, it depends on the degree of, what credit they're trying to take. If they just straight up steal something, you're going to have to stand up for yourself, because narcissists like to target people that are people pleasers and are afraid to stand up for themselves, and will like do a lot of work to, and this comes from, you probably did this in your family dynamic, where it's kind of like, I will receive love and safety if I overperform and if I overgive. And so narcissists can pinpoint those people, and they're like, okay, I will have those people do the work and I will get the credit for it. And you kind of rationalize it to yourself. And then all of a sudden the resentment starts to build and build and build. And so we want to stay away from all dynamics like that. The first piece is awareness. So you have an awareness that you did that. Okay, you shouldn't have done that. And then I need you to stop doing that. But I also want, once that dynamic starts, it's hard to, it takes a lot of courage. I've noticed at first with my clients that have been in situations like this, they're like, what if I get fired? They have this like irrational fear of getting fired. I'm like, they need you way more than you need them. But you're so brainwashed that you think, oh my God, I'm going to get fired. I should just, stay little and calm. And like, meanwhile, you're getting abused. You're working extra hours you shouldn't be, and you are not getting credit for your work. No, we're not doing that. So you have to have a little bit of courage and know that you are valuable. And if you did get fired for some reason, that'd probably be illegal. And then two, you're probably not going to get fired. And three, if you were, then that is a sign from God, the universe, that you need to be in a situation where you feel safe and your talents, skills, and abilities are valued and are rewarded in a way that's reflective of that. So I know that it can be scary, and I know that narcissists weaponize a lot of things against you, to just keep using you and keep draining your energy and keep you second guessing yourself. But if you step back and see what it is, you just draw that boundary. No, I'm not doing that. Or yes, I get to get credit for that. And oftentimes there's, you're so scared if you have a narcissistic boss that you're afraid to report it. You're like, just anything. You're like, oh, well, HR will look at me this way. You know what? This is an opportunity for you to get your needs met. And I'm talking like basic needs, like safety in the workplace. You get to have that. You get to always feel safe and at peace. I always say this in a lot of my content. You deserve to have your nervous system at a baseline state of peace. When you operate from a baseline state of peace, you can be the most creative, the most energetic, the most alert and focused, and like whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you really want to create in your life, the goals for every area of your life, your health, wealth, relationships, and career, you can do that from a baseline state of peace. I know some people, and I just did a video about this. They're like, oh yeah, I thrive in chaos. No, babe, you don't. You don't. That's a lie. You can maybe get stuff done in chaos and it comes from having low self-esteem. Actually, people that say they thrive in chaos maybe grew up in chaos. So that's how they learn to operate. But you can learn to operate a different way that will be a lot better for your, cortisol levels and overall health and psyche. But a lot of people that say that and try to glamorize, oh, I thrive in chaos, they think very little of themselves. They have very low self-esteem, and they actually sometimes consciously and definitely subconsciously do not believe that they have the ability or skills to get whatever they need to get done. So it's like, oh my God, chaos. And then they just try to offload all these responsibilities onto everyone else because their core belief is that I am not capable of doing this. So they bring the chaos in as like this kind of like excuse or thing to kind of mask that they can't do what they're promise that they're going to do. But then after they cause all this chaos with everyone and get everyone to do everything for them, and then they take all the credit for it. No, we're not doing that. It's not a good way to live, and especially if that's a work environment for you, you spend a lot of your life at work. So you get to be in a work environment that works well for you and is supportive and safe. Um, so that's a lot of the dynamics. Let me know if you guys have any questions about that, but that's really like the rules for dealing with any type of narcissist in the workplace. And the most important one is to stay what I call very beige. Don't give them any type of reaction. Just pretend like, I mean, I'm just talking like no reaction. You are there to do your work like you're a robot to them. You could act like your beautiful self everywhere else, but they get no energy. These people are energy vampires, and they feel so miserable, so they thrive on making you miserable. Narcissistic, the core of narcissistic, or like the foundation of narcissistic personality, is that they have so much guilt and shame that they refuse to deal with. It's too much for them to look. It's not too much for them to look at, but they just refuse to look at it because they feel like any guilt or shame means they're a bad person, and then, they don't take any responsibility for anything. So all that guilt of shame, which is a bottomless pit, they project onto you. So that's why they talk shit. That's why they do all these different things to trigger you, because when you get triggered and in a way that would make you feel bad about yourself, or just any type of trigger, they experience relief. They literally experience relief. So you don't have to metabolize their feelings for them. Again, you are supply. Every human they only see as supply to get their ego needs met or to metabolize their guilt and shame. You don't have to do either one of those. That is not your job. Um, no matter how great they make you feel in the love bombing phase, they don't mean it. That's not the person that you're actually dealing with. And it's not your responsibility to put up with their shit, metabolize all those yucky guilt, shame feelings of theirs, or meet their ego needs, like praise whatever their name is, like praise the narcissist. No, no. You came here to live a big, beautiful life that doesn't involve that. Um, and another question I got a lot this week had to do with reverse discard. I had a video that that I did, I think in January, about reverse discard, but it's just like continuously getting a lot of feedback about it. So reverse discard is when you are pushed to your absolute breaking point. You're pushed to your breaking point. And then you finally, like, you've just put up with too much shit. Like in a lot of times with narcissists, you're afraid. Like they get you in a state where you're afraid and you're being bullied. And so, and then you're absolutely pushed to your breaking point. So you decide to end the relationship. And sometimes you do it in a way they trigger you so much because they know you. So you maybe, like, I call it the exploding doormat. Like you put up with a lot, you're like, don't say anything because everything is your fault anyway. And then you're like, I can't take this anymore. And they're like, whoa, oh my God, you're acting crazy. Why are you doing this? Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And so they act like the victim. And even if you end the relationship, they'll tell everyone else they did because you were acting crazy, and I didn't do anything and I just don't even know, maybe something's going on with them, that type of thing. So again, narcissists are never going to take responsibility for anything, so everything's going to be your fault anyway. So with things like this, I mean, often a lot of people know who the narcissist is and don't believe it. Like, the truth always comes out. Another thing I always say is that, especially with narcissists, and I've said this to narcissists and it triggers the shit out of them. Everyone always plays themselves out. I have a video about this. I think I have it pinned on my Instagram, that one of the most triggering things you can say to a narcissist is, oh yeah, just like when they're acting up, like everyone plays themselves out. What the fuck does that mean? What do you mean? And I'm just, no, nothing. Everyone plays themselves out. The other thing that triggers a narcissist very much, and we're not trying to trigger them, but we're just trying to have boundaries. I'm not in the, I don't want to, my content isn't about like, let's trigger the narcissist or be in this like mental warfare. My hope for the point of my content is for you to grow. This can be a very like spiritual experience, and you could up level every area of your life by learning the lessons from dealing with these type of people or having a relationship with them. But the other thing is that really triggers a narcissist is the phrase, I am leaving. When you're actually done, Nothing will trigger a narcissist more than you say, "I'm leaving. I'm done." And, like, for real this time, not the cycle of, like, "I'm done. Break up and then come back." I'm not talking about that. And that is a cycle and no judgment about that. I'm talking about when you are really complete and they have no control over you because they really thrive on having people in their life that they can manipulate and control and really feel like are under their control. So when you say, "I'm not under your control anymore. I'm done. I'm leaving." They have a big problem with that. If you really want to trigger a narcissist, never talk to them again. Never give them any energy. It's so like when you're in it, it feels like such hell to deal with them. But like really at the end of the day, if you just leave and give them no attention, they'll go over all the whatever and then, do the smear campaign, all of the things. But at the end of the day, you win, your peace is restored, and hopefully, especially, if you're watching any of my content, you've learned so much from that relationship that you never attract any type of dynamic like that again. And every area of your life gets better because your self-concept is better and what your standards have been elevated. And your life will only meet you at your standards, not what you wish for, you think, hope, you're like, no, I will only have this amount in my bank account. I will only tolerate this type of behavior from people. I will only, have my health look like this and my whatever, all of those things. When you really fucking declare that this is what my life is going to look like, and I do not, that I don't, my standards are that, and I don't go beneath my standards, life will meet you there. I promise you that. And if you have areas of your life where you compromise a little bit, that's going to show up too. But I'm telling you, if you own a business and you like charge this, but it's like, oh, I really want to charge this much. There are people out there that will pay for your services. Or if you're working at a job and it's like, okay, and you're interviewing for other places and it's like, well, I want this much, but in the interview, if they say I'll take this, no, you need to ask for this much because you're worthy of this much and more. So you get to elevate your standards and really put it into your mind that your standards are yours and you get to freaking have them. And you like get to, and I give my clients this exercise and I hope it's helpful to you guys, to write them down and then look at them every day and then write them in your phone and look at them every day and then use the first person, like, I, whatever your name is, full name, always have this amount in my bank account. I am always treated this way with respect and love, whatever it is. I, whatever area, like I have amazing coworkers and a very safe and productive work environment, whatever it is. And you say those things to yourself all the time, and you're saying them to yourself, and it could just even be like robotically at first. All you're doing, you have to create new neural pathways at first. There's all this debate of like, oh, do affirmations work? Da, da, da. They do work. Whatever you repeat all the time, you've had a song in your head before. And maybe you didn't even know the meaning of the song. You've had a song in your head before, but it's just because it's replayed and played and played and played. So it's like you have to do that for your own life. But when you're creating new standards for yourself, and people have done this with health now. They used to try to suppress this information, but now it's very like common. It's like what you focus on, like with your health is what you're going to get. They did the study around cancer. So people that just worried about cancer, whether it was quote unquote genetic or not, were more likely to get cancer. And then people that were perhaps more genetically prone to cancer, but didn't worry about it, didn't get cancer. So it's the same thing here. Whatever your mind is so freaking powerful, um, like more than we know. And I know that social media, the powers that be, let's just call them that, do not want you to know how powerful your mind is, but your mind can heal your body, can upgrade any area of your life. You can, and some people call it different things, but it is literally been proven in neuroscience and in quantum physics. This shit is real and your mind is so powerful. And that is a big point to why I do this, and a big point to the content that I make, is so you understand that you can have anything in your life and to really rewire your brain in a way that supports that and helps that happen really fast. Let me look for a second. Can give blowing wind, can you give me a tip for my problem? Um Sure, I can give you a tip. Tell me what your problem is. And let's see, I was friends with yeah, friends. That's a good thing, Jay. I was friends with a narcissist because you're never really friends with them. I'm sorry, but they don't they refuse to have the ability to have real intimacy or connection because that is way too threatening for them. Why? Because they know that if you really saw them, you would see what a piece of shit they are, and then you would reject them. So you can't really ever experience real intimacy or friendship. Anyway, Jay says, I was friends with a narcissist and knew what she and I'm sorry, I knew what she was. She was fun. I held my boundaries. She suddenly stopped calling or taking my calls. I figured she was getting her fix from me. Or yeah, like and it's to and like borderline people do that too. It's like, oh my God, you're so fun. And then it's like bloop, like, I found someone else to use, basically. But yeah, they can be fun. They can be, especially covert narcissists can be very generous at first, and then the generosity is like held over your head and kind of weaponized. But I mean, people like get in relationships with narcissists because they can be really fun and they are really good at love bombing. In psychology it's called the idealization phase, but they're really good at, like, they will study you and to try to understand, like, okay, what is she like, what's going to draw her in, what are her dreams, or like, what does she need in this moment. A lot of my clients and course students, when they come to me, they're having a really hard time in their lives, and the narcissist was like the savior and the comfort and the peace, like, that they needed, like, showed up like that, which makes a really strong bond, right? And then you feel like you can be safe with this person, and then they unravel, the real them shows up and they're the most unsafe person, and it's really heartbreaking and confusing. It's very dysregulating to the nervous system. But you just get rid of that person and I promise you'll be a lot better. It's about the power of my mind. I am a massive procrastinator and I'm aware of it, but despite being aware of it, I don't start working. I know I will face massive consequences and I still repeat. Okay, first of all, thank you so much for your vulnerability. And this question is so powerful. So, and I love that you're asking the question because you don't want to continue this. You aren't arguing. It's called arguing for your limitations, where you're like, "Oh, but I procrastinate because of this." What I'm hearing when I hear this question is, "I don't wanna do this behavior anymore." So that's great, and already understand and shift your self-concept to, "I'm not becoming I'm becoming someone that does things early and on time. I do everything early and on time." So to start answering this question, that's the first thing I would do is I'm gonna shift my self-concept. And guys, I have to tell you, it's just this easy. Like, I know a lot of, you know, therapists and psychologists, I don't know, so they can bill you, or they can bill your insurance company or have you sign up for more sessions. But if you just stop, just pause right now and decide that you're going to change your self concept to someone that does things on time or early. Just like and then just give yourself one way to do that, say like, "Okay, I'm gonna have lunch at noon." So then start making lunch at, I don't know, whatever would get you to lunch at noon. And it's like, "Oh, look, I did that on time or early." You have to like, just do these little wins, little wins, little wins, little wins all the time. But the first thing I want you to do is constantly tell yourself, blowing wind, I want you to tell yourself that I want you to completely shift your identity. And if you can, please also journal about it, preferably with your hand because it helps create new neural pathways faster, like pen and paper. And right, whatever your name is, do things on time and early on the time. I remember when I used to procrastinate. God, glad those days are over. And that version of me, I'm going to give that version of me a big hug that felt like they couldn't get things done on time and, just always, I don't know, maybe that version of me like learned to do that in childhood, and maybe that version of me someone told like wasn't capable, but gosh, I'm so glad that those days are over. So you're identifying with this new person more and more and more that you are. And you're going to say that on like repeat all the time. Constantly, you're going to flood your brain like you're obsessed with it because you're creating new neural pathways. And as you I mean, and this could take 2 weeks. Like, honestly, if you, like, get, like, really diligent about it, it'll happen fast. And so I also want you to feel, oh my God, it's so peaceful. It's so peaceful to get things done on time. I feel so nice and luxurious and feel all the things. And another thing I recommend, some people love this technique and some people don't, but I'm going to give it to you, is that doing what's called family systems or inner child work. So you could go through however old you are and see, does my 8-year-old self feel like she can't get things or he can't get things done on time? Does my 10-year-old self feel like they can't get things done on time and they procrastinate and they're in fear? My teenage, like, find which one it is, which version of you it is, and talk to that person and be like, hey, you know what? You're really capable. And we're going to get this done together on time. And so, like, if it's a work thing, you sit down with that version of you and be like, we're going to get this done. You are so smart and capable. Let's freaking go. And we're going to get it done early and we're going to celebrate. And you get to tell me what we're going to do to celebrate. Okay. So maybe the 8-year-old version, if you want ice cream or whatever, like you take yourself out to a nice dinner. It's always nice to celebrate your wins and reward yourself. So, but what you never want to do with this is be like, oh, I fucking like all the berating and judgment, because when you're a procrastinator, when you were, because you're not anymore, but the cycle, the negative feedback loop is to punish yourself and like get cortisol hit, and like your nervous system is looking for that. So we're not punishing yourself at all. Okay. None of that. Let me know if that's helpful or there's any other things blowing wind that would help with that. I don't know who Melissa Ford is. Penny, let's see. She was love bombing me, overwhelming me immediately. That's how I knew she was a narcissist. Yeah, I mean, they go in hard with the love bombing. And, if you're in an insecure place, and I have been there, I have done all the healing and so I know it's like, if you're in an insecure place, it feels really good. Or if you just got out of a bad situation, or just if you feel like, if when you just need a fucking hug, and it's like, and a narcissist comes in and starts love bombing you, it's like, oh, that feels really good. And then you start believing it's real. So, but good for you, Jay, for realizing, and keeping your boundary around that. I love that. Blowing wind, it's like my mind sends a message to my body to start working up. It creates stress. Oh, working up, it creates stress and tension, and my body rises from my seat and takes some action, but my body doesn't obey. So that's a nervous system issue. So your nervous system via your body is locking up. Remember, your brain is here, and then your brain stem goes all the way down your spine throughout your body, and that's your nervous system reacting to things. So that's unconscious things, like what we don't deal with consciously gets stuck in our body, and it creates those things. So blowing wind, I would do those techniques first, because you do need to regulate your nervous system. And another technique to regulate your nervous system is to breathe deeply. So when you feel your body tensing up, I promise you're not breathing, or you're breathing you probably don't realize it. So if you can breathe deeply and do box breathing, so that's at least 4 to 5 seconds in, you hold for about 4 seconds, and then you exhale. And when you exhale, you visualize, so you're inhaling and you visualize a line going up, hold at the corner, and then exhale and you watch the line, hold, and then inhale again. And so you're breathing, you're regulating your body, and then you're using that visualization to focus your mind on that thing, instead of the tension. So it really, Navy SEALs use box breathing for that reason. When they're in really gnarly, like stressful situations, they use box breathing. That's how we learned it was so effective. So breathe, do those techniques with the writing things down and repeating to yourself. And then also, you can hear my unclench your jaw, drop your shoulders, and consciously relax your body. So and by the way, great awareness that that your body's tensing up like that. Another thing, if that is happening, imagine a white light just going through your body and completely relaxing it. And you get to freaking decide, you know what? I am not my procrastination, and this is not me anymore. Back to the self-concept thing. You got to get really freaking stern. Like, you're not a victim to this. You get to say that to yourself. Wow, that, like, No, not anymore. Not today, not anymore. I'm deciding to not do this anymore. And like I've personally done this with like anxiety around like just having anxiety or anxiety around food or other things. And it's kind of like, you know what? I wanna live my life without this, like, ruling my life, and I'm not doing it, really making that decision. Decide means to cut off all other possibilities. So, really making that decision is where it starts. It's like, when an alcoholic decides to, like, really get sober, it starts with, like, every single day they've been doing this really toxic behavior, and then they're like, "You know what? Not anymore." And it's gonna be hard at first, but every alcoholic, I mean, people that have, like, drank for 20 years, they'll tell you that the easiest part was giving up the behavior, and it's very shocking, you know? And it's about, like, regulating your nervous system, which is so much easier to do. So, but I would definitely start with those techniques. Even now, my mind is screaming, "Just fucking move, bruh." But, with what you are doing, have more important things to do, and I'm just not getting up to work. I want to, but I'm not, and I'm aware of it. I'm glad that you're aware of it, and that's what's okay. Yeah, but this is what I mean. You're giving that story energy. Like, you see how what I mean? It's like what you give energy to, you get more of. So I know even if you don't believe it right now, I need you to be like, "I get shit done." Even when, like, my body's doing that thing or, like, my body's trying to gaslight me, I get shit done. I'm just that person. I get things done. And I would also this is another, neurological reprogramming technique. The inner saboteur, the inner sabotager that, like, is inside of you, the inner critic that's like gaslighting you and trying to paralyze you, you name that person and you say that's not you, right? So like for me, one of mine is Loretta. Okay, well, I'm not Loretta, I'm Lauren. And so I'm like, bitch, get out of here. I don't know why you're trying to keep me small and having me not, and like mine came up too. I'm gonna go live stream. And Loretta was like, no, you don't. And I'm like, yes, I do. And and I mean, it was like molasses, like moving into my office. And then all of a sudden I'm like, why? No, like I love talking to you guys. Like, why would I not do that? And so you have to really separate. Again, this is identity work. Blowing wind. That's why I'm saying that I want you to give energy to the new story. So like in the past, it felt suffocating. In the past, you were only aware of it, but not able to get up. And now you are. Like from this fucking moment on February 26th of 26 is when you let go of that. I want you to name it like a name that you hate. Okay. Like you're letting go of that identity and you are now this new person. And really, you at any moment, you can change your life. At any moment, every time your heart beats, you can have a new life. I promise you that. Okay. And, it is like an addiction. That's why I use the alcohol analogy because we do get it's a real thing to get addicted to procrastinating or drama or shopping or alcohol. It's all the same. It all creates the same feedback loop of like, oh, gotta get it done. Hate myself, blah, blah, blah. We're not hating ourselves anymore. Okay. And yeah, and good awareness. Yeah, it is an addiction and I am naming it and yeah, because it is. Okay, good. Sometimes people argue with me about that. Like blowing wind, you have a lot of awareness. Like good for you. Like and I love that. Some people really argue for their limitations. No, it's not an addiction to the like do you want my advice or not? Like and some people don't. Some people just want to complain about something, which is an addiction. So you get to give yourself a lot more credit because you're so ready. All you need to do is drop the old story, drop the old identity. I want you to identify with this new, higher and better version of yourself that is operating from a state of peace. You get shit done early. You go to bed early. You do all the, you know what I mean? Because you have enough self respect and self love to do that. Like you are so fucking like that inner critic that's trying to keep you small and procrastinate doesn't want you to shine. Is aware of how talented and capable you are and doesn't want you to do that. But that's an old story. You don't have to tell that story anymore. Maybe like one of your parents did that or someone, I don't know, an old like relationship, but that gets to all drop and you get to put yourself first and you get to be fucking proud of yourself for getting all that stuff done. It's going to feel so good. I want you to focus on the feeling of it feeling so good to get all that stuff done. And, and all your work was so nice and everything. And, you dropped that addiction. I was a former procrastinator, and now I'm not. Just like when people, stop drinking and their life immediately improves. It's like, yeah, I used to be an alcoholic and now I'm not, and things are great. The alignment, your decision maker, the alignment to a healthier, earthier journey. Yeah. And that's the journey that this is why I do what I do. I'm just here to guide you and and in some ways it kind of just be a channel for what you need to hear and help you have the best version of your life. The thing that is the basis of all my stuff is, I have a master's degree in psychology, and a lot of my work is focused on neuroscience and quantum physics, but it is so you can be the best version of yourself in every area of your life. That's what you came here to do. And yes, a lot of my work is about, helping you heal from narcissists and toxic relationships, because that low point in your life could be the beginning, can just skyrocket you into the best version of your life. It really can. And sometimes we need that hellish experience to really go to beyond. I cannot tell you how many clients and course students I have that are like, oh my God, I didn't know it could get this good. I freaking love that. And it can get that good. It could, whatever your goals are, the universe is like, boom, I'm ready, because you're finally understanding your worth. And it just rain falls in. It does. All of a sudden, oh, you've been dieting for years, and because you have all that toxicity out of your life, the inflammation goes away. You could even look at it if you scroll all the way down on my Instagram before I really started talking about that, because I was doing my own healing work. I'm puffy as fuck, because I was just at the tail end of working through a lot of that. So, it is possible for you. All of these things that you just feel stuck in, you're not. I promise you. Oh, oh my God. Sorry. That was like a car, I guess. And I have my window open. Jesus. Okay. I already have one major addiction in the past. Good. Which is I was addicted for 6 years and overcame, but I feel like I'm saying this because I am motivated. Yes. So dude, blowing wind. Exactly. You have this in you. You've done this before and you can do this again. And it's going to be easier to do this time. And maybe that inner critic is trying to keep you small, oh, now we're going to focus on this addiction. No, the only thing that you're addicted to is your success and your state of peace. I love that. You got this. You totally got this. And the fact that you've done this before, so proud of you. You know what? Yeah. DM me or something and let me know how you're doing. You could DM me on Instagram or TikTok. I don't know if I'm forgetting. I wish they had DMs here. But anyway, and let me know how you're doing. Because you're ready. You're so ready to let it go. You got this. Proud of you. Hey, everybody. Hi, ma'am. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope you're doing well too, Jasper. Unlocking the doors within us from our generation, callings from our past that we got. Yeah, maybe fun to explain more about that. But unlocking doors within us, I love that, because we really are. Sometimes we have these, and you'll know, because it's a desire, and desires are an indication of something that you're supposed to have. But we feel like we can't have it for some reason. We have some worthiness thing that just gets to be unlocked, as you say. I was an alcoholic at the age of 18, and now I'm sober 32 years. Congratulations, Jasper. That's amazing. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the 12-step programs. I'm in Al-Anon. I'm not in AA, but I'm in Al-Anon, which is the sister program to it. So it's the family and friends and all of those people of alcoholics. And you really learn how to do relationships well. And not be codependent, all those things. So, beautiful. I love that so much. And, addictions in general, I will say, they could come in the form of anything: food, alcohol, anxiety, excuse me. They could come in different forms, right? But all addiction is attempting to do is keep you out of the present moment and keep you small and keep you from what you came here to do and keep you from, having everything that you want in life. So, it's a form of numbing out. And so you get to realize that and release it. And when you do that, like there is such an up leveling, a spiritual awakening. That's the terminology they use in AA, but it really is. If you have any type of spiritual orientation, you really do experience a spiritual awakening when you are able to release the addiction that you have. It could, because we don't want to transfer it to another addiction. And if you do, it's okay. Because it'll show up and it'll be like, hey, this is just another way to up level. So we're going to do that. We're going to level up our life again, and we're going to get better and better and better and better, because that's what you came here to do. You came here to evolve, not be stagnant. So we're always getting better and better and better and better and better. And that is what my content is for. This is why I do this for you guys. Okay. Because I want you to be better and better and better and better. Because you can just experience life. Every part of life becomes so beautiful. And yes, you'll be healthier. Yes, you'll have more money. And yes, you'll have all the material things, but it's just like life will be so beautiful and exciting. And like, you'll be, addiction removes you from the present moment. So you could be so in the present moment, and like life is so beautiful and there's so much like awe. So I want that for all of you guys. Makes me happy. Thanks a lot, at least listening to my thoughts. I am satisfied with you only listening despite you being a stranger. I really can't afford a therapist, etc. I just wanted others' opinions. And like, you know what? That's another reason I do these lives. I know that, sometimes it's, not in everyone's budget to have a therapist and everything. So that's why I come on here. And I also make videos all the time about these different neurological reprogramming tools to help you rewire your brain and nervous system so you could live the life that you want. Because I know that not everyone can like have a full on like session with me. So yes, I hope that this is helpful. You're very welcome. But yeah, and then, please stay in touch and let me know how your progress is. But I'm telling you, you got this. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, like it's so weird when I used to procrastinate. So glad that's behind me. Yes, you're very welcome. But I have not beaten depression. It's an ongoing battle every day. Yeah. And it is, Jasper. It is. But you can get through it. And so depression is often linked to something from the past that some part of your psyche and nervous system is holding on to. And so there's so much deep work you can do around it. You can journal, I like to do inner child work. If I could get a client to do inner child work, I will do that. And you think about every age, every decade, and ask those versions of yourself, like, is there anything that you're still afraid of? Is there anything that still bothers you? Is there anything that still traumatizes you? Is there anything that you're still angry about? Just all the negative emotions, just ask, like, is there anything there? And just be curious. Just be curious what they say, because that will be the answer and the source of your depression. And you might be aware of why you're depressed, and you might not be. But even if you are aware of you're depressed, you'll learn more from doing that. It's a really deep discovery, and it's not like a one-time thing. You continue to learn more and more and more. And you'll notice that these different parts of you come alive, and they'll start talking, and they're so happy. They're like, oh my God, I've been having these repressed emotions. And like, let's say you have, like, this happens with a lot of my clients. Oh, I had this chronic back pain. The back pain goes away because you're not subconsciously bearing these repressed emotions in your body. How amazing is that? So I would start, Jasper, I would start with inner child, or it's called family systems work. Because it's very powerful. And then also, just doing the basic things like getting outside, getting air. Gratitude is very powerful. Gratitude is a very high vibrational and healing emotion and, like, act. It's also an act. Like, we also we have feelings of, like, gratitude that are overwhelming, but if you can do that every day, and if you could remember, 'cause if you remember to do this, it'll just be like your natural reflex. When you go to bed, and it could just be one thing, could be 3 things. I just think about something that you're so grateful for. Even it's that the fact that you can breathe, even if it's the fact that you can, I don't know, drink water, like, whatever it is. And then when you wake up, I just want you to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then after that, if you can think of 1 or 2 or 3 things that you're genuinely so grateful for, you're reprogramming your brain. And I've done this, and I've helped a lot of my clients do this, that they literally wake up hearing the words thank you, thank you, thank you. And it doesn't take that long. So if you could do those 2 things, it's going to be really helpful to regulate your nervous system and to get you in a frequency of, like, love and being happier and, like, all of the emotions that you want that are not depression. Also, there's a book called, Letting Go that I really like, that's been helpful to a lot of people that have depression. My dictation is thick as my dictionary. My vocabulary is my vocation. Okay. Let me know if you guys have any other questions. Amazing questions, you guys. I am going to be like last time I was live, I feel like it was maybe in January, and I missed you guys. So I'm gonna do this more often. Like a lot more often, like most days of the week more often. So yeah, always let me know if you have questions. And then, you could always connect with me on Instagram and TikTok and ask me things. And then what I usually do is I'll go live and like answer those questions in I won't say your name. If you're here, like, you could, it's obviously been published, but like if you want me to say your name, but always when people are DMing me or asking me questions in the comments, it's like they feel so alone and they feel like they're the only one going through this. And it's also helpful to share your experience because it's like, oh, fuck, I'm not alone. I can't believe this other person. Wow, that's amazing. And so it's healing for you and other people. Um, in this parasocial world, do you believe humans have become fully consumed by our mask? We have always been consumed by our mask. I think the internet is more common to be a fake person. I don't think so. I mean, I think you can be fake if you I mean, but again, like, I believe that your whatever you believe is true, like, whatever your core beliefs are, the world is gonna reflect that back to you. Like what I was saying earlier about how people have cured themselves of diseases by just shifting their self-concept to be like, "I'm healthy." Like there's little literal cancer research that they were trying to suppress on this. And then people that were supposedly genetically prone to cancer didn't get because they're like, no, I'm healthy. I'm healthy. While other people that had no genetic proclivity to cancer, that they were like always so worried about it would get cancer. Right. So, and I had this in my life with narcissists. I was like, oh my God, am I always going to be treated like this? And, da, da, da. And so that kept being reflected back to me because I had fear around it and then judgment around it. But like, I believe that most people are good and that most people really do want to like live out their purpose. And so those are the type of people I attract in my life. And people that are fake, I mean, yeah, like I'm kind of allergic to it. It doesn't vibe with me, but I also feel sorry for them because if you're being fake, that's an indicator of having a lot of shame about who you really are, which isn't necessary. So that's my answer to that. But I tend to attract like real people who want to, get some real shit done. I love you guys for that. What if I just don't seem to care about anything anymore and lost the ability to care? I I would argue with you that I mean, that sounds like some depressive symptoms because I do think that everyone cares about something. You're on this planet. You have, I don't know what they are, but you have certain gifts, skills, talents, and abilities that are benefiting the world in some way. I don't know, maybe even if you're just funny, even if you're just kind. And so if you're feeling that way, like that apathy energy, it could be like some signs of depression. So again, like that, exercise that I was just going over about, like, the family systems and asking, like, "Where is this apathy coming from?" Another question you could ask is, "If I didn't feel this apathy, what would I care about?" Like, just be curious, just be fun, like, just and the first thing that pops into your head, I don't care if it's popsicles, the first thing that pops into your head, be curious about it. "Oh, okay, if I did care," which I don't, but if I did care, what would it be? What would I go do right now? But I promise you that there are things that you care about. I think that they're just being suppressed right now for some reason, but I want you to be curious about it. Journal about it. And again, if you can, journal with a pen and paper because it helps neural pathways connect faster. It's also understanding a cursive language that affects people, like the word cancer from knife to fork. Yeah, I mean, we have, our brain associates certain words with certain things, but that's different for everyone. Like, that's kind of my point is that, like, for me, like, I'm like, "No, that's not part of my reality. No." So, I'm just healthy, and, like, I've done this with a lot of people around, like, weight loss. You need to start identifying my metabolism is great. My health is radiant. If you do that, I have my clients that really are like, "I'm so frustrated, nothing works, da, da." I'm like, "We're just gonna start with that. You need to change how you perceive your body because your brain is signaling to your cells all the time. So if you tell your cells, 'Hey, I'm in radiant health, my metabolism works fast,' things will change." It's been clinically proven. You don't have to argue with me. These are things that the pharmaceutical and medical industry don't want you to know. It pisses me off. Don't even get me started. But like there's so much research coming out that can't be suppressed anymore, which makes me so happy because I remember back in the day, I sounded like I was crazy. And I'm like, no, this really works. That's like literally how powerful your mind is. Um, the medical system, yeah, I know. It's very low vibrational. Simply avoiding the doctor would probably, I know. Um, I just yeah, I'm more on the natural, if you follow me on TikTok, I talk about there are certain supplement like very high quality supplements that I partner with them and I recommend them because the pharmaceutical that's all I'll say, I don't want to I don't know, get a strike against me, but it's true. It's true. Like the pharmaceutical industry wants to keep you sick and fat and addicted to all these things that it's just not necessary. Um, I've been this way. You've been what way for 15 years? No repeat. I don't know if I missed something. Do you have any male clients? At any given time, my private practice is between 40 to 60% male clients. I always have a good amount of male clients, and I freaking love my male clients. And I remember when I first started like marketing myself when I started my private practice, I was like, "Oh, should I?" And I just naturally always had male clients, and the feedback I've gotten is like, "I love that you create a safe space for, I create a safe container for all my clients and that I'm a woman that's obviously like non-judgmental and I obviously know very much like what I'm talking about. So I love working with my male clients. So yes, to answer your question, I have male clients. I love all you guys if any of you guys are watching. Yeah, so tell me what you're talking about. I've been this way for 15 years, no repeat. Maybe I missed it. Oh wait. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yes, about the apathy. And you know what? You can be apathetic for, 45 years. And if it's bothering you, you can decide to change it now. I don't think you would have written that if you were completely comfortable with it. So part of you wants to change. You have an awareness that you have this apathy and like, okay, I want to care about something. So that's a good sign. Like give yourself credit for that. So that's why I'm saying, like, okay, if I did have a passion, if I did care about something, and I know there's something that you at least like. I mean, is it a food? Is it a TV show? Start there. There are things that you like. I know they're sleeping. I don't know. There has to be some things that you like and build from there. Um, and you can go for a walk and point out things that you like, or at least things that you appreciate. Start there. But I know that you would not have written that if you didn't want to upgrade that area of your life. So just start small and also be curious as to where the apathy comes from. It's an emotion that you don't want. Maybe it was like comfortable and okay, and it was like a little, comfortable safety blanket, but you're like, "Ugh, now this feels like smothering and like just weighing me down." That's great. I love it. So, but be curious about it and do things that you just start noticing things that you like or appreciate. Just start there and keep me updated. Fasting is one key to cleaning the mind and body to a better understanding of filling the mind with. Yeah, I'm a big proponent of fasting. I'll fast at least one day a week, usually on Monday. And first of all, like just on the physical level, it's really good for your body because your body does what's called autophagy, and it just like flushes out bad cells, toxic cells, cancer cell, all of those. Like it just helps flush things out. And if I get a little hungry, I'll have like a cup of broth. The point is to be in a calorie deficit, but it's very healing, and you get a chance to hydrate yourself more. There are certain supplements I'll take, like like if you take, actually, I have it. Because I'm a partner with them too. This one, Brain MD. If you go, oh man, you can't see it, but if you go on my TikTok, I talk about like, but anyway, like those things just help cut cravings and are good for that type of thing. But yeah, like, I mean, there's a reason that like most spiritual practices have some form of fasting because it does also help clear your mind. And it also helps like bring up some emotions that maybe you don't want to feel, but like it's good to like cleanse them, right? And it's okay if you're fasting to get grumpy or frustrated. Let yourself feel those things. Maybe you're suppressing them with food or something else. Like that's okay. A lot of people grew up feeling or being told that they can't have any good feelings or have any feelings unless they were good feelings. You can have all the feelings. Those are, you are a human and you are allowed to be seen and heard and experience all the feelings, the good ones and the bad ones. They're all information and they're all just energy. Emotions are energy and motion flowing through you. So, but yeah, fasting can bring up the stuff that we've been stuffing. So, yeah, big proponent of fasting. I've been actually meaning to do more content about, fasting and intermittent fasting. Um, let's see, and understanding about you, what courts use instead of a name. What do you mean by that? What courts use instead of a name and surname that were invented, and then not sure what you're talking about, but um, appreciate it. Um, but I'm going to wrap up soon, but let me know if you have any other questions. Amazing questions, you guys. Like you guys are very self-aware, and the questions that you're asking, I know that you're like you want to change. And I definitely attract people, like my content attracts people that are like, I'm ready. Like they're ready to like just completely like take the reins on their life, but we all need a little extra support. And so, if you work with me one-on-one, if you're my client, I always like create that safe container for you. But I hope that even in these, or my intention is that even in these live streams, I'm doing that for you guys too, and creating like a safe container where you can, talk about what's on your mind. And hopefully, I could help you with, answering your questions. And then these questions, I'm sure, like just watch more of my on here, like my videos, and on my shorts. They're called shorts. On TikTok, they're called TikToks, and then on Instagram, they're called Reels. I mix them up sometimes. Just found your channel. How do I get a hold of you? You can hold on. I'll give you. If you can text or WhatsApp me at this number. Let's see. I'll say it out loud as I'm typing it. So +1. I'd say that because I have clients that are like in Europe and the UK. +1 949 396 4092, and I just put it in the comments. So, and then all of my contact information is it's linked on here. Like I have a link to my link tree on my channel. And then I have And then on TikTok, there's my link tree, and then, you'll see, like, "Contact me," and it'll go straight to WhatsApp, and then you can, WhatsApp me there, but my link tree is connected to all of my, social media platforms, but that's, the number to get a hold of me. And then we could chat, I usually just do like a little chat and I'll let you know like, "Oh, yes, I'm a good fit for what you're going through." And if I'm not, then I will let you know. And sometimes I'll have a colleague that um has more of a specialty in what you are, needing. But yeah, I'll let you know. I'm very like honest and straightforward. And but like if you found my content, that actually rarely happens because people that find my content, my clients that find me through my content, it's like, oh yeah, yes, I could definitely, work with you and help you. So looking forward to hearing from you, James. And yeah, for all of you, like if you go to my channel, there's my link tree link is there, and all my contact information is there. And so you can either directly WhatsApp me or text me, or DM me on Instagram or TikTok. You can also DM me on Facebook. I forget to check Facebook um, as often. So Instagram and TikTok are better for those things. So yeah, again, great questions, you guys. I'm gonna wrap up unless anyone has any other questions. I love hanging out with you guys. I am gonna do this more often, and I'll eventually like get a schedule. And but I just want to be able to fit it in where I can too. So it's so great to meet you guys virtually and chat with you and answer your questions. So I'll see you in the next live, which will be very soon. Okay. Love you guys all, and I'll talk to you soon.